everybody. Hello. Happy Wednesday. How you doing today, everyone? I hope you're doing all right on this fine Wednesday. I keep forgetting it's a Wednesday. Also, it doesn't help that the weather is gorgeous here today. I just want to sit
Yeah,
outside and do
man.
nothing.
Yesterday and today, really nice.
For sure. But yes, welcome everyone to Chatting with Doug. This guy right here. I'm going to go over the rules so that we can get started with some of these questions because I see we have them pouring in over on Twitch. We're already at a level 3 hype train, so thank you for that. Appreciate that. Yeah, awesome. Great. First and foremost here, we give priority to the bit messages and the super chats since that is some real world money spent. Towards the end of stream, we might have time to look at the highlighted questions on Twitch or regular chat questions on YouTube, but we cannot guarantee that's going to happen, nor will that happen until the end of stream. So if you have a burning question you need answered, now is probably not the time to be asking it because I can't scroll up and take a look at it and all that jazz. Please do not repeat yourself over and over again in chat. You can get timed out or even banned if you're going to continuously do it. So just don't do it. Okay? With the super chats specifically, I know sometimes this isn't usual, so people don't know this. But you don't need to repeat them even if they unpin from the top of chat. I have a list and it is very, very rare that we actually miss one. You just need to have some patience. You don't need to re-give a bit message or a super chat. Just have some patience. We can get sometimes up to over an hour behind. Obviously, we've been live for like 8 minutes now and haven't even started asking the questions yet. So just patience, okay? That's all. I'm asking you for some patience. Also on the YouTube side of things, we prioritize super chats that are $5 and over. We have such a large volume of questions coming in. This is just a way for us to prioritize that and still have a time to get to the non-paid questions as well. If we have time, we'll go back and look at the super chats that are under $5, but we do prioritize $5 and up. Please watch the length of your question. The longer it is, the faster I have to read it, the more likely it is that I'm going to miss something and we do not have time to repeat it. So short and to the point is better. That also applies to multiple parts. If you absolutely must break your comment or question up into multiple parts, no more than 3, please. Once again, we just tend to lose the point and we don't have time to go back and figure out what you're talking about on part 12 now. Oh, I just had it and then I lost it. No spoilers, please. I haven't had a chance to watch the newest episode of Daredevil yet, so just don't do it, okay? And I think, is it this week or next week that Invincible season finale is? I don't know. Point is no spoilers, okay? None of those. Please. No spoilers. Don't be that person. You don't want to be that person. Oh, I remember the thought I had before it disappeared. Please also keep it to 1 question per bit message or super chat. It's just not fair if, you say, all right, here's 4 questions. Just keep it to 1 question per bit message again and super chat. I swear we are trying to get to those non-paid ones. We just have a large volume of questions and we're trying to do this as fairly and efficiently as possible. All right, I think that's it then. Right? No swearing, Doug.
Yes, that's right.
All right, great. Then let's get to it. At Movies, thank you for the 500 bits. How would you rate the new Lilo and Stitch trailer on a scale from 0 to 1? And what does your wife think of it? That's pretty funny.
That is very funny. I knew there was going to be a joke in there. Just 0 to 1 is pretty good. I would give it a 0.5. I didn't think it looked awful. I didn't think it looked good necessarily. My wife hasn't seen it yet. She's been busy today, so I haven't shown it to her. But the 2 things that I was kind of like, all right, is that Hawaii is beautiful. So seeing that in live action, will be nice. And then everything's going right on the sisters, in my opinion. If they're not done well, the movie's not going to be good. So, and they look okay so far. Everything else just looks like a shot-for-shot remake. Like, you could practically, just erase the lines. It looks exactly the same. So, I mean, I guess we're just going to get more of that. But yeah, I think most of it's going to rely on the 2 actresses playing the sisters.
Crunch Along, thank you for the $5 super chat. I heard you started watching Severance with Rob. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we're on episode 3, maybe? I like it. I don't know if I'm quite as obsessed as other people are yet, but it is very, very smart and very well put together. Definitely. Something Rob said, I think, is a very good way to putting it. He said it's like if Shyamalan movies were done right. It's the same type of shots, it's the same idea, but there's real thought behind it. It isn't something where it's kind of just in his head. There's something that feels very natural, very organic, very smart about the way everything is handled. So that is refreshing to see.
Majestic Demon, thank you for the 500 bits. Salutations once again, Gan, Doug, and Heathermere. Question for both of you. Did you guys see the live action Lilo and Stitch trailer, and what were your thoughts? P.S. The ice cream man still couldn't eat his ice cream.
Trust me, there's going to be a lot of stuff you're going to be like, wow, they still did that from the original film. It just looks like another shot-for-shot remake, but yeah, I'm hoping the actresses playing the sisters and some of the shots of Hawaii will separate it from the original. I hope that'll make it a little different, but it's just looking like another shot-for-shot remake. It doesn't look awful, but I'm not excited for it.
Artsman, thank you for the $20 super chat. Appreciate that. As good as Andy is in Two Towers, I found an even better role he played. Check out the audio drama of The Screwtape Letters. Circus plays Screwtape, a senior demon, and is the most terrifying and diabolical voice I've ever heard.
Oh, I think you would do great with that. I've heard a couple people do the Screwtape. There's some wonderful. I mean, it's a great book, but there's some wonderful audiobooks with that. I think my favorite is John Cleese reading it. Was really, really good. But Circus sounds awesome. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Hi, Doug and Heather. Are either of you Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans? I've only seen the original movie and the first couple episodes and just could not get into it. However, I do love the idea. Do you think it's worth seeing, and do you have to be a certain type of person to enjoy it?
I have not seen it, but I know enough people that have, and I've seen enough of like the best episodes to know I would get into it. I just don't have time. One of these days I will. If as an outsider, it sounds like it's worth it.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Good evening, guys. Doug, I'm curious, since it turns 20 this year, would you do an NC for the film Racing Stripes? It's Babe if he was a zebra.
You know, I forgot that film. I don't even remember the film except for the poster. I just remember a zebra's head like that, and yeah, like with a little racing hat on or whatever. Probably not, because I forgot even existed. I think most people did, unless it has some kind of following I'm not aware of. I never did see it, but probably not. I'll look a little more into it though.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. So I saw the Lilo and Stitch trailer and I'm 50-50 on it. On one hand, I got a little charm from it and I can't believe how good Chris Sanders is at still playing Stitch after all these years. But on the other hand, I got very little from the actors playing Lilo and Nani.
See, that's funny. I was I can't say I got I was kind of the flip. I can't say I got nothing out of Stitch. I mean, he was fine. Actually, the effects look okay on him. The actresses were the ones where I'm like, man, I recognize them as those parts, but they're just different enough that I'm hoping that'll be like maybe something that'll make it work. But again, we can't. For that, we really can't know until we just see the movie. That's enough something we just see little clips and be like, that's gonna work. It's like, no, look at the original trailer, and could you be like, yeah, those characters are gonna be great? No, you're not really gonna know until you see the film. But you could be right. They could be awful too. I have no idea.
Future movie actor, thank you for the $5 super chat. Plans to cover the original Snow White from Disney once the theme month is over. Snow White 2025 came out on 3/21 as is, so it would tie into that.
I am gonna do a video. Finally, I've wanted to do this one for a while. I'm not gonna do it as the NC. I'm just gonna do it as myself. Talk about emotional storytelling, because it'll be a little bit after the new Snow White comes out. But I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say they're gonna miss the point of what the original story was about and why it's so beloved and everything. So, or I could be totally wrong. Maybe this will be the one that finally makes it work, but unlikely. So yeah, I'm gonna do a video talk about that and Wizard of Oz and where the wild things are. So yeah, I will definitely do a video like that.
Protoform, thank you for that 1 month subscription over on Twitch. Welcome, appreciate that. Thank you. Matt, thank you for the $5 super chat. The plot of Citizen Kane revolves around the mystery of Kane's dying word, but nobody was in the room with him to hear him say it. Is this a plot hole?
Yes, if you honestly want to know, and that's something everybody points out. It's entirely correct. And my only thought is that I think he just liked the shot of what is it, the nurse or the maid? I can't remember, of coming in, with the broken snow globe. I think he just liked that shot so much. Well, and then there's stuff where people are saying later, it's like, oh yeah, I was there when he said it the other time. It's like, no, you weren't. So I don't know. I don't think that's a style of the time where they're just like, oh yeah, the reality was much more flexible that way. I don't think so. I think it's something where he was just like, it's not a big deal. And to be fair, he's kind of right, but it is a little distracting. Anytime I've seen the film, I've seen a teacher talk about, they always bring that up, how nobody was in the room with him, but it's not a big deal. And I tend to agree, but you are right, it is a plot hole.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on the movies Boogie Nights and Bridges of Madison County? Sorry.
I've never seen Bridges of Madison County. I guess I heard it's supposed to be good. Maybe I should check it out. Boogie Nights I really like. Somebody had the best description of it. He called it Goodfellas in the porn business. And he's not even talking about like the plot. He's just talking about the style. And I really agree with him. I really got a Goodfellas vibe. But what it's actually doing and saying, I think, is it's a little different from Goodfellas. I like it. I don't think I fell in love with it as much as everyone else did. But I do really enjoy it.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Hi, Doug. Are you a fan of the British comedy troupes The League of Gentlemen or The Mighty Boosh? If not, I recommend them. Their mixture of British humor, absurd surrealism, and wit seems like something that you would enjoy.
I haven't seen the first one. Rob showed me, so he's funny just saying that, The Mighty Boosh. But Rob did show me The Mighty Boosh. And I only saw one episode and I couldn't get into it. It was definitely surreal and weird, and I like that. I just wasn't laughing that much at, but maybe I just didn't see the right episode. So maybe I should give it another shot.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, I was curious, have you watched the show Succession? And if so, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, saw the whole thing. I really liked it. I thought the characters were fascinating. I think I do have a soft spot. I don't even know if it's a soft spot, maybe a strange addiction to shows where, I don't know what you call it, rich people acting crazy and getting their comeuppance, like at Wall Street or, Boiler Room and stuff, like all these movies and shows where they're like, man, they're nuts. And it's not always their fault. They have a bad upbringing or whatever. It's just the world, but it's like that they're clearly nuts. And at some point it catches up with them. And even when sometimes they try to do the right thing, but it's too late. And I hate to say it, I do really like them. I mean, they are interesting, but I don't. One of these days I'll have to do like a psychological study, be like, why? Why do I like these so much?
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts on the Brady Bunch movie? I never got super into the series, but the movie is surprisingly really funny.
Me too. I don't like the show. I think it's designed for me not to like it, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So the movie, which is clearly satirizing it, but has a real love for it as well, I think very cleverly handled it. And now that's the way almost every adaptation of a goofy cartoon or a goofy show or just something that's a little silly or we know it's a little campy, that's how they're done now. They all do with this super, super self-aware mindset of what if this was more in like the real world. So I think it was really ahead of its time in that respect.
Jacob, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey Doug, hope all is well. My grandfather, who I call G, recently turned 78. Could I please get a belated happy birthday G from you? Or G, maybe? It's just spelled.
I'll try both. Happy birthday, G. Was it G? Yeah. Happy birthday, G.
Great. Wonderful. Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Who are your comedic influences or favorite stand-up comedians? My favorites would have to be Robin Williams, Steve Martin, Gabriel Iglesias, and Bo Burnham.
Oh man, It's too many to count. Lewis Black, Bill Murray, Jon Stewart. What's her? Why am I forgetting her name? She's so great. She was pregnant through like 2 specials. I forget. Amy Wong. I think she's hilarious. Whitney Cummings. I think is very very funny. Um, even some actors like even voice are like Tress MacNeille and Rob Paulson. I feel like I've taken a lot of stuff from in terms of delivery. Yeah, some good ones.
Chad, I have seen your comments. I know we're dropping a few frames here and there.
Oh no.
I'm trying to do what I can. But it just hasn't been enough
How's this
droppage.
look?
You're you're fine, Doug. It hasn't been enough droppage for me to warrant stopping the stream because essentially, in order to completely fix it, I'd have to stop stream, completely reset my router. It'd be a whole thing. So it hasn't been enough droppage for me to warrant doing all of that. So if you could just be patient with us, I'm doing what I can. Thanks.
When that happens, does the audio drop too, or just the frame rate? Okay, all right. So I mean, that's the main.
I mean, it's just like freezing and buffering is really.
Gotcha.
Okay. Freezing and buffering.
All right. Sorry about the yell.
Yeah, sorry. Oh my goodness! Holy cow! Thank you so much for the raid over on Twitch. I can't even see who is the raider. Jouer du Grenier. Welcome on in, everybody.
Hi. Hey, buddy.
Hello. France is here.
Oh, long. I should reach out to him. He was really cool, and that's very kind of you to do that. So thank you so much every time you do that. It's every time I hear that, I'm like, it's really been a while. I mean, it's literally, I think it's been like over 10 years or something like that. I really should chat with him.
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts on the new Lilo and Stitch trailer? So far, I think the movie shows potential. I don't have super high expectations for it, but it looks cute and charming.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that it's going off of a story that was already very popular, alien coming down, hiding a pet, or pretending to be a pet. We've seen stuff like that before. And that is a more modern, but it doesn't take place in a fairy tale or something like that. Like, it is something that's more modern, so that's easier to adapt. Aside from that, it looks like a shot-for-shot remake. It doesn't look like there's anything that new, but if the sisters are done well, I think the movie hopefully will work okay. But nothing looked like disastrous about it. I'm just sick of these shot-for-shot remakes. I want something a little different from them.
Brady, thank you for the $5 super chat. Remember, Doug, when things go wrong, blame the government. It's the most American thing that you can do.
I'm rewatching King of the Hill, so I'll get my Dale glasses on and my hat.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. What's your favorite moment between Miles and Peter in the Spider-Man games?
Let me see. Boy, I don't know. Actually, I don't think it's a spoiler. I like when Miles has to fight Peter. I think that's a very difficult thing, for that character to do. It's pretty awesome. You get to fight Spider-Man. That's kind of a cool idea. You get to fight Spider-Man as Spider-Man, a different Spider-Man. I think that's really, really neat. So I like the dialogue they have back and forth. Yeah, and again, you can't really do that in a movie or a comic or anything where you can actually play as the hero and you feel the turmoil the character's going through more when you're actually, doing those actions. So yeah, I guess I would say that.
Trip, thank you for the $5 super chat. Any plans to review Casper's Haunted Christmas this year? Not too much in it for adults, but it's got a surprisingly sardonic tone that's fun at times.
Okay. I haven't done any of like the Casper spin-off movies or anything like that. And I probably should. The reason I haven't is because I know I'd have to bring back that little animated Casper, and I just don't have the energy for it. I'm older; it takes more time now and stuff like that. So, unless I can figure out a way around that, maybe I can do like a fast little cameo. So I don't know, but then people would be disappointed. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can think of something.
I am Chris. Thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, I know you're a huge Tom and Jerry fan. Would you be interested in seeing a live action version? Seems like they're making everything live action of all the classics.
I mean, they have tried that with the movie that came out last time, but I think if it make them look realistic. I mean, I think one of the earliest like some of the earlier cartoons they do with Tom and Jerry, they try and make them look and sound real, and that wasn't funny. Like animal abuse in real life is not funny. So I don't think that would work. But I feel like that movie was more on the right track. There's a lot of cringy moments in it, but like it was more on the right track. I like the idea just all the animals are cartoony. It's just kind of a weird, funny idea. Even like somebody walking a dog in the background will be a cartoon. Like that's just so odd. So I think there might be an idea in there, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely better than the animated Tom and Jerry movie we got years earlier.
Headshot, thank you for the $5 super chat. In Sonic 3, would you prefer if Prof. Gerald was as serious as he was in the games, or do you like the goofiness Jim Carrey brought to the character?
I Again, because those movies have already kind of created their own thing that's just enough has just enough Sonic in there where it works and is entertaining enough. But from what I saw from playing the games and stuff, I do like the original Professor better. Um, yeah, I think that worked a lot better.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Excuse me. And excuse me. In BioShock Infinite, what do you think of the section where Elizabeth gets recaptured and Booker ends up in a future where he never saved her?
um, I don't know because I definitely it's one of those things where I always feel because Rob was talking about when he was playing the game, like, man, he just felt like the tension when he would hear like her screaming and like the torture and stuff and everything. And to me, it feels a little bit like a gimmick. It's kind of like they were talking about when they did Guardians 3, and it's like, well, yeah, it's easy to feel for animals being abused, just but before animals being abused, I mean, it's so easy to feel for that. You don't have to try that hard. Where with that, I felt that was handled pretty well, and this was handled well too. It's hard not to kind of see it as a little bit of a gimmick, but I do always remember her saying that there was something really disturbing when she just said it just took time at some point, because it was probably, you don't even know, like months or years or whatever, and she said it just took time and finally broke. And it's like, yeah, that is such a creepy, sad, idea. That probably has a lot of truth to it. So that always stood out to me. But it was also something I always kind of said, did you need that in the game? Yeah, I feel like you could have snipped in not much, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you took it out, you would really be missing something. So I don't know. I go back and forth on it.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Why didn't you make a Chucky joke in today's NC with Brad Dourif being in it? Or would it have been too obvious?
There's so many actors that have been in other things, and the movie's long, man. There's like so many jokes I can. Well, that's one of the nice things about doing the first viewings as well, is that any jokes that didn't get in, it's like, okay, well, I can show us, making it here. Yeah, there's just so many jokes. The movie's so long, there's just already so many jokes you can make.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you have any plans to review the new Planet of the Apes movies? The first their movies, maybe they mean 3, are one of my favorite trilogies, and Andy Serkis's performance as Caesar is amazing.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the first two, and everyone says those are the best out of those movies. Somebody was talking about maybe doing a Planet of the Apes month. Maybe we'll do that, and that'll finally force me to check out those first two, because yeah, I've definitely heard that. I've definitely heard they're really, really good.
Dave's Dragon, thank you for the $5 super chat. Did you decide to include the joke about Frodo becoming a penguin? Mumble happy feet.
Oh, no. I don't recall making that either. Again, they're very long movies.
A lover of cinema, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts on Jamie Presley? You might recognize her from stuff like Not Another Teen Movie, Joe Dirt, and I Love You Man. She's also in My Name is Earl, but I know you've never really watched much of the show. As for me, I love her. I find her to be great, funny actress. She seems like a cool person in real life. Also, she was a smoke show back in the late 90s, 2000s, though she's good looking nowadays.
Uh, I saw I Love You Man. I remember that. I saw it on our team movie, but I'm not gonna pretend like I remember all the actors in it. Yeah, just looking at. I mean, seems fine. I'm not gonna pretend like I remember anything where she really stood out. But all the stuff I remember liking, so I'm assuming she was good in it too.
Matt, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is a dark joke. I think you'll like this one, Doug. I'm reading this book about an immortal dog. It's impossible to put down.
I love it. I love it. Boy, the theme is animal abuse this stream, isn't it? Weird.
Apparently, eh? Dev the Wiser, thank
Oh,
you.
wait, what am I talking about? That was not animal abuse. That was the opposite.
Dev the Wiser, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts and ranking of the Sylvester Stallone Expendables movie?
Probably the order they were released, 1, 2, 3. I never did see the fourth one. Wait, did I see? I don't even think I saw the third one. So by the time it got to number 2, I was liking it, but it was already becoming a little too tongue in cheek. Like having Schwarzenegger go yippee ki yay. I'm like, yeah, all right. But I liked it just enough. And then everyone said the third one was just a little too silly. Like, all right, we're just doing the obvious jokes. And the fourth one I heard was just awful. So yeah, I never saw him pass 2. So I'm assuming it's 1, 2, 3, 4. But yeah, that's keeping in mind I have not seen the last 2.
The Ultimate Frozen Fan, thank you for the $10 super chat. What constitutes a video doing well? They all seem to average 100K plus views, more than any of my videos, lol. But you say some reviews don't do very well. Do you mean that in terms of views or monetization?
Usually views. So I mean, I don't know. When 3 or 4 years pass, there's always something usually changes in the numbers. So I think I usually say, like, when we're talking about how a video does, I'll say, well, by new numbers, it did well, kind of thing. But you're right. We have a great back end, and we still do well enough that we can do this for a living, which I am very, very thankful. Again, all y'all watch it. I mean, we can't be more thankful to you. Like, I know we're supposed to say it, but it is really, really true. You're allowing us to live our dreams. But yes, at the same time, I know if I just stopped and did only what I wanted to do, in terms of like videos and stuff, I don't know if I would still be doing this for a living, honestly. The views probably would drop off too hard. So, and then we also have like sponsorships and stuff like that. I mean, people pay good money to have their ads in something. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to do, I don't know, my top 11 wallpapers or something like that. Like something I clearly wouldn't do well when somebody paid good money to have a sponsorship. So I do pay attention to the numbers, and I do try to have it where it's something I want to do, but also something I think might like people want to see and will click on. And I like that too, because then it isn't just, well, I'll just do whatever I want, and I don't know the common YouTuber experience either. We have to work with the algorithm too and everything. So that's a very long-winded way of saying if it doesn't break 100K within like the first few days, then yeah, in my opinion, that's a failure. For an NC video. Other ones have different rating scales.
Mm-hmm. Jay Monty, thank you for the 500 bits. In your Alien 3 review, you referenced Ryan George's pitch meeting videos. What inspired you to do it, and are you a fan of Ryan George's work?
Oh, huge. I just made another reference to in the last Lord of the Rings movie when Frodo's writing, Sam looks and says, and you just finished writing The Lord of the Rings. I just say, that's the name of the movie. I love his. Well, so the pitch meetings are obviously wonderful. Weirdly have not gotten old. They are still so very, very funny. And I think a lot is his delivery and his writing. But also the other videos he does where, the first guy to lie, the first guy to open a restaurant. I mean, those are surprisingly really, really funny. These are all ideas you think would just get old really quick. But he just adds just the super, super funny energy and creativity to them, and just good, I don't know, I'm just going to be repeating myself. Good writing, good delivery. yeah, I'm a big fan of his stuff.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather, I'm curious, in your opinion, what's the best scene and worst scene in Dark Knight? Oh, goodness. You pick a day when I'm a little under the weather. I canceled my afternoon stream this afternoon, so my brain's a little fuzzy, and we've got like so many things happening in the back end right now.
I asked, by the way, if she's okay. I said, yes, we did it too. She's like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Not Doug. Doug was not like, you will do this stream. I was like, I can do the stream, Doug. The people, they must have their questions answered. They need to know your opinion of the Lilo and Stitch trailer.
They need to.
Anyway, I can't think of a worse scene right now because my brain is fuzzy, but some of the best scenes, I think, as a Chicagoan, some of those chase scenes
Lower
in like
whacker.
lower rat and lower whacker are so good. I don't quite know why, but in my brain I always remember too the scene where the Joker like crashes that party and tells one of his backstories. So I don't, there's a lot. It's
Mhm.
just a good movie. So yeah. Um, JL, thank you. Excuse me. Thank you for the 500 bits. Sorry, I'm late. I was fighting my passcode on my PS5.
Oh, so I'm glad you got through.
Yeah, I'm glad you are here now. Sorry. Of course, as soon as I was like, things are happening, now things are happening. It's fine. Everything's fine. I have your questions again. Truth, love. Truth, hope, love. Thank you for the $5 super chat. So next year, considering what's coming out, Toy Story month?
It's funny you said that. Not a month, but maybe something's coming soon. Pretty soon.
Maybe. Cameron, thank you for that 34-month subscription over on Twitch. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. I know we're not supposed to trust Disney live-action remakes, but the Lilo and Stitch trailer looks pretty amazing. What do you think, Doug? Maybe a future NC review?
I mean, we'll see what I think of the movie, but it did look amazing to me. But like I said, the shots of Hawaii and I think the sisters will be hopefully what sets it apart from the other ones. It'd be nice if they did something really different, but everything else just looks like, pretty shot for shot the same thing.
Trip, thank you for the $5 super chat. You know, technically, you can still use the F word on YouTube, just not too many times before the video is demonetized. Also, review 1997 Titanic.
I have it on the list. I'd have to think about how to do it, but you say that. Yeah, and I've talked to other YouTubers. It just depends. Some people get hit a lot with it. Others don't get hit at all, even though they use it all the time. And we're one of the ones that got singled out for. We got Tarzan demonetized because we showed the death of the villain in there in a G-rated movie. So yeah, we just don't take a chance anymore. It's silly. We shouldn't have to, but at the same time, sometimes it's not too bad to adapt to your surroundings, and sometimes you can get more creative with your limitations. So yeah, sometimes it's worked okay.
Yeah, and YouTube also never actually lets us know like what
No,
the
they
guidelines
don't.
are. So we don't know. It changes. Sometimes it'll be like, oh yeah, if you just don't use it in the first minute. And then other times it'll be like, oh, do we mean minute? Just don't use it in the first 15 seconds. And other times it'll be like, you said it one time.
Yeah, and we've seen other YouTubers get taken down for like even less than that. So
Yeah.
like, I mean,
It's all over the
just
place.
not worth it.
Yeah. Majestic Demon, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of it's historically inaccurate criticism when movies use historical figures or events? I'm personally sick of it because in Pocahontas per se, I don't think even Disney, as powerful as they are, could get away with telling the true story of that person. That's why it's a fairy tale, or as you like to put it, historical fiction.
I don't know. I don't think that'd be the best example to use. I'd probably go more something like Amadeus or something. But it depends. Like anything, it's a case by case basis. Sometimes it is fun to look up the real story of something. It is weird when you see something. I was thinking about doing a video on this, talking about just true stories when they acknowledge they're not really true, like Blackberry or this apple vinegar show that came out, and you look it up, and it's like, boy, this would almost be true. Why didn't you just do these 2 or 3 things that don't really affect the story that much? So it's odd. It's a case-by-case basis for me.
Jacob, thank you for the $10 super chat. Doug, I remember you mentioning many years ago that you were maybe a fan of Terrence Malick's The Tree of Life. Do you have any thoughts on his other films, Days of Heaven, The Thin Red Line, etc.?
Boy, what was the one? I saw a real good one maybe about a year ago, and I absolutely loved it. I gotta look at it. It's like one of its more straightforward movies. I think it had was it Martin Sheen in it, something like that, and it was I was just blown away how good it was. And I think because it's funny because Brad actually surprisingly doesn't get into his movies, and but he brought this movie up. He's like, that's the only one I really like, and I want to see if I can find the name of it. Oh, Badlands. That was it. Badlands was really good. Like crazy good. And it's not really abstract or anything. It's very straightforward. But I do like his stuff. I did really like Tree of Life. And what's some of his other ones here? I I have a funny criticism for Thin Red Line. I think it was fine, but I had a hard time telling the people apart. I think I saw what I was doing because everyone had the helmets covering everything, and they were in really, really dark rooms most of the time. So I'm like, well, who's that? Who's that? Who's that person? Who's that? Kind of thing. So I think that threw me off. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll like it more. But I remember that was a constant problem for me. But I remember really liking his stuff.
I was frozen
Movie
today.
Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the Tangled movie and TV show, which animal sidekick do you like more? Pascal the chameleon or Maximus the horse?
Oh, Maximus, come on. That's the horse Javert. I mean, he's so good. Just the animation on him alone, especially in the movie, was so great.
Jacob, thank you for the $10 super chat. Doug, I remember you mentioning that many years ago that you were maybe. Oh, I just read that. I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say.
Matt, thank you for the $5 super chat. When the Ents went to war over their destroyed forests, were they. Oh my gosh, Matt. Were they crying about wood? You might be able to figure out another word for crying about that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
well done.
I'm trying my best. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Just saw a video about discs versus streaming. Do you prefer discs to streaming?
Streaming is very convenient. I'm always going to have a major appreciation for physical media. Always. If something goes wrong in streaming, it's always good to have a physical copy. I saw VHSs because people change stuff even on Blu-rays and DVDs, and definitely on streaming. They can change it right there, right in front of you on streaming, where if you have the physical copy, that's always there. And just if it's a movie I really like or a show I really like, it just feels right to physically have it, in your hand and on a shelf and everything. With that said, do I get a ton of movies for myself and shows in physical form? Not as much because I don't fall in love with as many movies and show, but like Across the Spider-Verse, that's not like one of my new favorite movies, and I got that on disc. So yeah, it has to be something I really, really like in order to get it on disc. But yeah, I'm not gonna pretend I don't see the convenience of streaming, but hopefully physical media. I don't know if it'll ever fully go away.
Future movie actor, thank you for the $5 super chat. Admittedly, a simple wish, big inspiration to me as a kid. I was either 6 or about to turn 6 when it came out. As an adult now, it still got a soft spot.
Oh, sure. I mean, there's lots of movies I've seen that, or even grew up with, that I know aren't that great, but I still love them. I'll still watch them over and over and over. And even if you think it's great, you're like, that bald idiot doesn't know what he's talking about. Please love it and talk about why you love it. I always think you can find out more about a person by what you disagree on a lot of times. I think movies or songs, art, I think that's a great thing to disagree on because nobody's really right or wrong. You just find out what they get out of it. And I think that's a really good way to find out about people.
A lover of cinema, thank you for the 500 bits. And I think they just didn't realize their first one went through, even though it was a bit long, because they're asking about Jamie Presley again.
Gotcha.
Maggie, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you seen Good Boy? It's a guilty pleasure talking dog movie with the main dog being voiced by your favorite actor, Matthew Broderick.
Boy, I don't think that's the way it's come up for me. The first thing that comes up is like just this dog that has almost like a skull face, and it's like a horror film. It came out in 2022. I'm like, I don't think that's it. Oh no, here's the charming one. Oh, the little kid in the doghouse. The dog's on top of the house. Yeah, that's probably more what you're talking about. I think I'd rather see the horror film.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of Dr. Bunsen Honeydew from The Muppets?
Oh, he's pretty fun. I think I like Beaker more. I'm always gonna like the character, the sad stuff happens to. But I like his naiveness every time he hurts Beaker. And should he really be surprised at this point? He doesn't have eyes. Of course he's gonna get hurt. He's gonna hurt you.
What up, JD? Thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm trying to find this in a way to word it that YouTube won't be mad about it, because they even used a alternate spelling. What's the most iconic adult fun time scene in a movie?
The most the most iconic?
Yeah.
Boy, man, what would that be? At first, I was thinking maybe in Titanic in the car, which is funny. They're on a ship, but they still manage to get in the backseat of a car. Um, it's funny. I feel like I know more the parodies, like in Hot Shots, where I forget even what the scene is, but where they open the fridge, and I think like in the original movie, whatever it was, like he puts like ice on her belly or something like that. But then in the parody, he's like cooking eggs and roasting like hash browns and stuff like that. So I guess for me, that's a pretty memorable scene. I remember a lot of people did parodies of that. Boy, about that. I'm sure there's ones more iconic than Titanic, but I'm blanking on them. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you can't show them in movies, so it's hard to do parodies of them. I feel like that's how I rate something being iconic, is how many parodies there are.
Sean 49 Doctor, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey Doug, do you own any films from the Criterion collection? The first I collected was Michael Cimino's controversial film Heaven's Gate, which I bought out of morbid curiosity and thought it was actually good. Have you and Rob seen it at all, and what are your thoughts?
I haven't seen that one. That's another one of those where it's like I would be curious to check it out, but I also know it's really long, so I'd have to really, really have set aside a lot of time for it. Yeah, I got a few. One of my favorite movie, Brazil. They have a very good Criterion collection of that. I mean, most of the Criterion collections are really, really good. Yeah, I think Fantastic Mr. Fox. I have. I mean, I don't know if I can go through all of them, but yeah, I got a fair amount.
Isaac, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you seen the stop motion film Wendell and Wild by any chance? If so, can you make an NC review?
Probably can't do an NC review because I know it's on Netflix, and we try to have a physical copy of something all the time, because if not, we would have to literally get, like download it, which I know they would. We can argue it. It's just trickier because when you buy a physical copy, well, there it is. But if you're actually like downloading it in gig software, you're not supposed to have to download it like that. That doesn't always look great. But like I said, we can argue it, just not as well. But even outside of that, I liked it fine. I did feel like there was too much going on. They could have cut one of those subplots out, and I think it would have been a lot stronger. But I did enjoy it.
Truth, Hope, Love, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, if you review Pocahontas, I know Bale and Gibson are easy targets, but be careful if you decide to make fun of Irene Bedard's recent outbursts.
I'm not even sure I know who that is. So, of course, I'll look it up.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. How would you rank these Peter McNichol performances? Ghostbusters 2, Addams Family Values, and Bean.
Man, they're all pretty funny. You might have just done it. I think that's how I'd rank them. Yeah, but they're all pretty close. He's a very, very funny actor.
Noah, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, you should do Avengers month next year, since that's when Doomsday releases, and I checked the calendar. There are 4 Wednesdays in March.
I might make sense. I like the idea of opening it up to members to vote. I think that's kind of a fun idea, because I really thought, I had a feeling Lord of the Rings was going to win, but I thought like Turtles was going to be like a close second. It was barely even third. So it's like, okay, that gives me more of an idea of what people are looking for. So yeah, I might do that. I'll probably have that up for vote again.
Matt Norton, thank you for the $5 super chat. If you were a state alchemist, which of your friends and family would you prefer to fuse into a chimera with Chaplin and Buster?
Oh my God. Well, clearly Rob. Let's just get the most comedy.
Most comedy. Brother. It's just Buster. Jesus Christ.
I'm Chaplin.
I can't. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. How's Lord of the Rings month going? Will you be doing the Hobbit movies?
Yeah, so I'm going to do next week's obviously Return of the King, and then I'm going to have one more video just talking about all the Hobbit movies. I literally just filmed it today, so which means I finally had to watch the last Hobbit movie. I thought I could go without seeing it, but I finally did, so you'll know my thoughts soon.
Also, Chad is trying to let you know that Irene Bedard is Pocahontas' voice actress, apparently.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Sorry.
I mean, one of these down. I'm trying to get all the Disney Renaissance movies down. So, yeah, at some point, I mean, it's not like there isn't material for that. So, maybe I'll look it up. We'll see. It might have already passed by the time I get to it. So we'll see.
Case, thank you for the $10 super chat. Doug, have you watched the 1997 art house film Gummo by Harmony Korine? It lacks a 3-act plot and jumps between characters who find ways to pass the time in strange ways. It's unsettlingly mesmerizing.
Boy, did I remember this is one of those movies when I was younger I would pass by and be like, I should see that. It just looks so bizarre. I don't think I did. I think I remember just looking at the box like one of these days I'm gonna rent it. I never did. I should. It actually looks pretty interesting.
Edge, thank you for the 119 NOK through Super Chat. Have you seen Jellystone Crisis on Infinite Mirths on Disney's Chibi Universe? What do they have in common? Same thing with Baby Doll, a disease of never growing older. Oh, and nostalgia, I guess?
I saw a little bit of the chibi thing just to kind of see what it was about. What I thought it was, not my thing, but whatever, cute. I don't know the other one, the Jellystone one. So I guess I'll check it out.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Casper Original is the best. I still get laugh of your original video.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the one thing maybe we talked about in our real, I feel like we did real thoughts of that one. That is one of those movies where I'm like, was I too hard on that? Because I know it's a character and everything. And I do say at the end, oh, isn't it like so bad it's funny or whatever? I'm like, no, it's not even like awful. I just don't think it's good. But there was something to be said about that. Was the first movie I could think of where they use CG characters, like cartoony CG characters, as the lead with live action people. And I remember thinking, like, boy, that was interesting. Like, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. And now we have entire anime movies based around that. So I remember that being really interesting. And that's not an easy move. That's not an easy idea to adapt into a movie that people would still be watching years later. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff to admire about it.
Trip Corey, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts of the animated 71 Cat in the Hat special? I imagine you prefer it over Mike Myers' version, but what are your main thoughts?
I remember being fine. It's hard to make that. It's so perfect as a book for what it is and what it's trying to teach, and just be a little bit of fun, a little bit of nonsense and stuff. And it's so hard to translate that to be more effective in animation or in a movie or whatever, a special. But it's fine. It did it totally fine. But it didn't translate as well as something like The Grinch. You know what I mean? To the animated special there, where that brought like a new life to it. You need someone who'd have to be a little bit crazy and have like a really different outlook to really make that work in a different medium. Which I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's tricky. It's pretty perfect as a short book.
Rise Up, thank you for the $5 super chat. Been enjoying your stuff since 2011. Keep it up. Also, loved your Road to El Dorado video. Any interest in doing a what if Shell was the main character?
Maybe. I'll run it past Walter. He's the one that does those. Well, sometimes I'll write them, but he like edits them and stuff like that. So yeah, that'd be an idea.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Okay, Doug, I'll do a take 2. Best film role for the following 3 actors. I don't know if we have time to do 3 actors, but we'll see. David Spade, Forrest Whitaker, and Barry Pepper.
David Spade. I don't know if I've seen him in enough film roles. Yeah, I don't know. Emperor's New Groove. I don't know, because that's the one I'm getting the most laughs out of with him, I guess. Forrest Whitaker. Man, let me see. I mean, I know it's just a short bit, but I really did like him in Crying Game. He only had a little bit of time, but he really made it count. And I don't know the other guy. I'm so sorry.
Noah, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, next time you do a voting poll for the next game you play, please add Telltale's The Walking Dead. You left it out last time.
See what we can do. Yeah, there have been more and more games being thrown at us, like, that we do want to try.
Right, and sometimes if it doesn't make the top 3, we don't re-add it to a poll,
Yeah, so we'll see.
Retro Schmo, thank you for the $10 super chat. Doug, I would like you to be a guest at Lilac City, Spokane, Comic-Con in early June. Once Upon a Forest was your first review I saw, one of your best, especially the I Will Remember You bit.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Rheumatism. Yeah, if you want us out there, just tell the con you want us out there and, see if they reach out.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the Spider-Man games, which final battle do you like more? Peter versus Otto in the first one, or Miles and Peter versus Harry in the second one?
Auto. I thought there was a little bit more. The final battle with Harry in the last one, it's like it's fine, but I did think there would be a little bit more to it. Where I feel like everything just built perfectly to the battle with Otto, where it just felt big and epic and emotional and everything. Where with Harry, you kind of know there's only like for the most part one direction it can go. So there wasn't anything that new, and even the fight itself wasn't that new, but it was still fun. They're both really, really cool.
Harrison, thank you for the 10-pound super chat. Will you ever do a review of The Fox and the Hound? It's my personal favorite Disney movie and probably the reason I love movies with talking animals so much.
Maybe, it's funny. I remember seeing it and being like, that was all right. But again, it has a real following. And I guess looking back, particularly at that last chunk, that last third, I can see that. I still remember that image of the dog standing over the fox being, and it being very quiet. That being a very, very powerful scene. So maybe I should give it another shot.
Magic Window, thank you for the $5 super chat. Any films that you have majorly changed your opinions on and why?
What's it called? Not Madeline. What's it called?
Matilda?
Matilda. Big time changed my opinion. I used to really not like that movie, and then I saw it again years later. I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, everybody's right. This is great. I'm sure there's others. I remember, you can see this happen live. I remember seeing Justice League, the Whedon one. I remember thinking it was okay. I think I just wasn't a big fan of the DC films before. So I'm like, all right, this one's a little lighter. Okay, whatever. And then when we were showing it to Rob and we were doing the first viewing, both Brad and I said the same thing. We remember it being okay. And then by the time we were done, we were like, that was bad. Like, I remember Flash being kind of funny in there. And then when we watched it again, Rob is just looking at us like, we are insane. And we were like, are we? Maybe we are. So yeah, that was very, very interesting. And we say that afterwards. Like I was telling Brad, do you remember it being that bad? He's like, no, yeah, man, this did not age well at all.
Future movie actor, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are Rob's thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion due to no FV? Also, is there going to be an FV for the Hobbit movies altogether or one for each?
There's not going to be one for the Hobbit. Rob just put down his foot and said no. he's like, I love Lord of the Rings. That's why I'm doing these long, long movies, but I don't love the Hobbit movies. I am not doing that. And I'm like, I don't blame you. I don't even know how we would do it because there'd be so many. But his thoughts on Dominion. He hates it.
Yeah. Chris, thank you for the 5-pound super chat. Hey, Doug, have you considered having a James Bond theme month?
I'm not the guy. I like James Bond. I'm not obsessed with him. I get why other people are obsessed with that world and the character and everything. It's just not my thing. Again, bring it back to Brad Jones. He's done a lot of James Bond reviews, and he's obsessed with it. He knows the lore, what works about him, what doesn't work. He's got, his which ones he likes the most and everything. So he's the one to watch. Watch the Simba Snob videos on that.
Talons of Water, thank you for the $5 super chat. Either of you have any, dare I say, nostalgia for early internet content, as in internet sites and or projects from the early 90s to the early to mid 2000s? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Probably not as much as like I'm sure younger people do, younger than me. But yeah. Well, so that's what I was talking about with Smiling Friends. Why I really liked is that it felt like a callback to kind of that type of humor. That could be just very odd and kind of crude, but then other times really detailed and really smart. It was this fun jumble. But in terms of like specific stuff, I don't know. I remember Jib Jab was funny. I remember the Movies in a Minute with Bunnies was funny. Was it the Smiling or Happy Tree Friends? Was that it?
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. Yeah, all the stuff you probably watched.
Edge, thank you for the 59 NOK through Super Chat. Who's your wife again? Tamra? Heather? Oh, is it Mara Wilson?
It's all of them.
Don't start that rumor, Doug. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. How was your week so far, guys? I got a lot of tension. Hope you guys are having a good week.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, all our best to you. I mean, fine. Hopefully we can make you laugh and help you relax a little bit.
Deshaun, thank you for the $20 super chat. Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Doug, another celebrity that you never did for an MC review is Jackie Chan. So how about doing Rush Hour, Mr. Nice Guy, 2004 Around the World in 80 Days, or The Spy Next Door for a review?
Yeah, I never have done Jackie Chan, have I? I think I had, was it the Tuxedo? I've never seen that one, but a lot of people ask me to do it. So maybe I'll do that one. I just don't want to say anything bad about Jackie Chan. I love Jackie Chan. But I know he's been in bad stuff like anyone else.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Possible Disney December of a Miracle starring Kurt Russell in the future.
Uh I never have seen it, so that would be one to check out.
James, thank you for the $5 super chat. F, Marry, Kill, Take on a Trip, directors of Doug's top 4 favorite movies. Stanley Kubrick, Tim Burton, Milos Forman, and Terry Gilliam.
Oh man, was it hold on. Kill would probably be Kubrick. I love his movies, but he's a psycho.
True.
Was it F Mary? Oh, Take on a Trip. Take on a Trip. Probably Gilliam. I think he would have the most cool stuff to talk about, like on a trip. F. Was it Milos Forman and
F or Mary. You've got Burton and Milos Forman
Burton?
left.
Okay. Marry Milos Forman because you know what? I think he'd be a real sweetheart. And F Tim Burton because man, he'd be into something weird.
Jaeger, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey Doug, I just wanted to know if you've seen the movies The Man from Snowy River and its sequel Return to Snowy River. If not, I highly recommend them.
No, but for years I thought there was only Return to Snowy River. I didn't even know that was a sequel. So good to know. When I watch them, I'll be sure to watch The Man from Snowy River first.
Edge, thank you for the 59 NOK through Super Chat. Have you seen the Lilo and... Just kidding. Actually, have you seen Jellystone Crisis on Infinite... Wait, I've already done that before.
Well, I feel like I've already answered it before, so there you go.
Dave, thank you for the $5 Super Chat. What's your favorite movie directed by David Fincher?
A Fight Club, definitely. I always describe that movie as timelessly dated. Sometimes it's so relevant, and other times it is so of another time, and it keeps going back and forth. And I find that fascinating. Yeah, I love that film.
Retro Schmo, thank you for the $5 Super Chat. Were you into the GoldenEye video game? Do you remember the B&B segment where Butthead got a mail order bride? I think that was one of the best.
What was the first part?
Were you into the GoldenEye video game? Which is a very different question about Beavis and Butthead then.
Okay, I was just making sure I heard that right. Yeah, we played all the time. That was one of the fun things the family would actually play together. We'd all get our 64 controllers and we'd all play and rage at the screen. Even our mom played it. And it was always a quick... And of course, we had to do the no odd job rule. We were just like, okay, everyone, we just can't allow this. This is not fair.
Sorry, I lost my place. There it is. Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Gotta know, Doug, some of your favorite classic foghorn leghorn moments.
My absolute favorite. This is one of my favorite Looney Tunes jokes of all time. That character's gotten a lot funnier as I've gotten older. I remember liking him as a kid, but I love him as an adult. But there's one, he's trying to entertain this kid. He wants to get with this woman. She has a kid. So he's trying to play games with him. He's a little egghead. He's got these glasses and he writes everything out. And so he's playing hide and seek. And so he hides in this box. And the kid looks, and he does this mathematical stuff. And he goes to a tree and he starts digging. It's like, oh, he's way off. He's digging, and suddenly he pulls Foghorn Leghorn out of the tree. He goes, "But how, boy? What?" And he looks at the box, and he goes over there. He's about to open it. He goes, "No, I better not. I just might be in there." It was one of the funniest lines I ever heard. Yeah, that's hands down my favorite. That's probably my favorite cartoon to me. This one doesn't even have the dog in it, but that one is just so funny.
Internet Tube, thank you for the $5 super chat. Can Star Wars still be Star Wars without the political themes and messages?
Well, I mean, definitely, it can. Absolutely. There's tons of stuff Star Wars has done that has no political lean. I'm trying to think in the original, is there you can make an argument there's a political lean. I don't think that's the main focus. The main focus is more on myth and fairy tales, definitely. Um, which is not to say you can't put a political lean in there, but you can watch it without that and not miss a thing. I think so. I definitely think so.
James, thank you for the $5 super chat. What is a film you don't love and you don't hate, but just don't know how to feel about? For me, that's Harold and Maude.
Real? Oh, I love Harold and Maude. That's so funny. It is very protesty though, isn't it? It is very preachy, but I love it. I feel like I feel like I discover these movies a lot, but I forget about them pretty quickly. That's the thing. So I like this movie, but I did have to kind of. It's the first movie in a while where I looked up what the director's intent was, and it was Flo. It was the one about the cat, the one that just won Best Animated Feature. I got to the end, and I liked it, but I'm like, man, I don't follow that. And every time I sort of thought of something that okay, this might add up, something else didn't add up. So I'm like, okay, at least the ending. I want to know what the ending was about. So I looked up what the director had in mind because I already had some theories. I looked it up and what the director was trying to say. I was like, oh, that's kind of weak, in my opinion. So, like, but at the same time, I'm like, well, but just because that's what he sees doesn't mean it's what I have to see. But it was such an odd spot to stop. So I kind of go back and once I looked that up, that's what he was intending. I was kind of like, it did kind of take it down a little bit for me, but I do still like the movie. It is still a very good movie, but yeah, that is one of the few times where I'm like, usually I can separate the two, and that's one where I'm like, no, what the director said, that's always going to be buzzing in my head. It's like, that's kind of lame. That's kind of lame.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. What's your favorite moment from Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Favorite moment? I don't even know why I like this moment. I feel like I'm not alone on this one. They're at the art museum, and it just gets closer and closer to his friend looking at the was it Summer in the Park painting, you know, with all the little dots. And it just gets closer and closer. And there's so many things with that character, there's so many things you can if it was Ferris there, it wouldn't be anything. It'd just be a goofy scene. But because it's that character, you're like, is he seeing how like insignificant he is, or what he's made out of, how he sees himself? Or it's like there's so many things you can read into that. And I love that.
Dave, thank you for the $5 super chat. You said you wouldn't redo your TV list, but Avatar: The Last Airbender isn't even on there, dude.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The more I think, because you're right, I didn't see it at that point. And I think when I finished the show, I said, okay, this is like my new favorite show. And I said, well, maybe shares a spot with Daria. You know, I go back and forth on. That is kind of a good point. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll look into it again. Because for all I know, maybe like the positioning of those shows might change. So I'll look it up again. And maybe I will.
Mew, thank you for the $5 super chat. Been watching since I was 12. Much love, Doug.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for watching for so long. Well, for all I know, you could be 13, but still, thank you.
Christian, thank you for the $5 super chat. For Heather and Doug, what's your favorite style of pizza? Like New York, Chicago, etc.
I do like deep dish. I'm sorry. I know I'm the cliche. And it's Lou's. It's Lou Malnati's. I love it. Pequod's is a close second, but I really do love Lou Malnati's. But I've had wonderful New York pizza, and I've definitely had, you know, wonderful like tavern style pizza and stuff like that. I mean, it's very hard to find a style of pizza that I don't like. If it's made well, I'll probably like it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Chicago tavern and deep dish. And honestly, Detroit style's pretty good too.
Detroit's very good, definitely.
Yeah. Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather, these are my top 3 favorite TV shows: Breaking Bad, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Game of Thrones. How would you rank them? Avatar, Breaking Bad, and then I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I would put Avatar above Breaking Bad for me personally. Brady, thank you for the $5 super chat. There was an old Donald Duck cartoon where he goes to the woods, and one of the rules was, and I'm not joking, don't Do
The
things to the
Bears.
bears.
Yeah.
Thank
No,
you.
this is a clip. I remember when I saw that. I saw it years later, just this cartoon. I just went, and the look Donald gives, he gives the exact look I just did. Just like, what on earth? And I was gonna post it online. Like, this was years ago when YouTube was just starting up and everything. I don't even know if I was doing this yet. And because I couldn't find it anywhere, and I'm like, oh, well, if it gets taken down, whatever. And then somewhere I saw a video where somebody posted it, and it has like millions of views. So who knows? I could have gotten my early start there.
Brady, thank you for the $5 super chat. I just read that. Sorry. Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. I concur. Andy Serkis voicing Screwtape and the focus on the family radio drama The Screwtape Letters is horrifying, intriguing, and insightful. I do recommend.
Yeah, it sounds like I'd really get it. Something else, because we were talking about adaptations of Lord of the Rings. I never brought this up. Probably the best one I've ever seen. There's a radio play from years ago, and it was phenomenally done. I mean, this is the closest to the book you'll ever get outside of the book. It's several parts. So, yeah, if you ever want to hear, like, in my opinion, the definitive adaptation, definitely check out the radio play on it.
Will, thank you for the 500 bits. Part 1. Usually when any form of entertainment have the first or so outing, in those first or so outings, they take what they've learned and apply them to the follow-up. But not every lesson is interpreted the way they could be right lessons. They're gonna be wrong lessons. This is just part 1.
Okay.
Jace, thank you for the $10 super chat. Fun fact, When She Loved Me was almost cut from Toy Story 2 because Randy Newman thought kids wouldn't be able to sit through a slow moment, even though Tim Allen and Tom Hanks cried during a test screening.
Boy, isn't that funny that he would think that would have to be cut? His, like, one song in the movie, he only did one song for that movie. Interesting, huh?
Yeah. Will, thank you for the 500 bits. This is part 2. So, with all that, my question is, in your opinion, has there been a movie, show, or game that learns the wrong lessons after their first outings?
No, so first outings, I mean like a part 1 and then a
Season or a
sequel?
movie. So, like,
Gotcha.
I would say we were talking about this last night during the Tournament Tuesday stream. Like, I think a good example of this is The Boys. The first couple of seasons of The Boys is great, and then they realized that people were idolizing Homelander, and then they made sure that everyone knew the, like, outright political messages of the show, and then it got a little too much. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Okay.
But
Are people really idolizing him? That's fascinating.
Yes, people loved Homelander. There was some
I mean, I love him too, but he's awful. That's why I love him, because he's such a he's this terrible creation that nobody should want to be. It's like hating Joffrey. That's the fun of the character. It's funny because they're talking about this new Avatar show coming out, and I feel like Korra kind of fell into this, where she learned the same lesson a few too many times, to a point where I kind of even said, boy, should she have, like, with kids, you understand a little bit more. And even they seemed a little bit ahead of the game. And I just felt like they kept kind of having her learn the same thing over and over. She kept making a few too many mistakes, so that, because I was trying to figure out what's setting me off about the description about this new show coming out. And I think that was it, that it's not going to be your fault. That's going to be some sort of, is something else that's going on, because apparently she caused the apocalypse. But I'm just so sick of, like, she did bad, let's all blame her. I feel like I've seen that so many times in that story. So that's something where I just kind of recall being like, man, I feel like I'm kind of done with it. And not to say she didn't have, like, great moments, and say, she clearly does, and it works out in the end, but I'm like, man, I just feel like that happened too many times in that show, and it's still happening.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In BioShock Infinite, how did you feel when it was revealed who Father Comstock is?
I felt embarrassed I didn't figure that out. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm usually pretty good at figuring that. Maybe because I knew there were gonna be some surprises, but I didn't know what area to look. You know what I mean? But I did know, all right, there's probably gonna be something with who he is, or his backstory or something. But I was more focused on who she was, because that was the big thing about, like, what's her backstory and everything, and that she has these powers. That when I got to the end, I'm like, of course that's it. Like, how did I not put this together? I mean, it's still good. It works out well. The story's great and everything, but it was one of those where, it's definitely like, how did I not figure that out?
Anthony, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug, will you ever do an in-depth review of arguably the best 90s cartoon to ever grace Cartoon Network, SWAT Cats, The Radical Squadron?
uh, I did not grow up with it. I know what it's another one of those reviews. Show me a picture, I know what it is. But I think it was on before I went to school, so I'd see a little bit of it. But yeah, I didn't really grow up with it, so I probably won't be able to because when I talk about a show, I definitely want to be able to talk about in a way where it's like I at least know the feel of the show and I can talk about it in a fair amount of detail. But that's one I just don't know much about.
Anthony, thank you. I just read that. Sorry. Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you seen the movies The Wild One with Marlon Brando, Victory with Michael Caine and Sylvester Stallone, and The Lake House?
I have not seen Victory. I have seen The Lake House. I like that one. That's when I was really like, okay, maybe there's more to Keanu Reeves than I thought because he was pretty good in that. And I have seen The Wild Ones. I thought it's The Wild Ones. Maybe it's just singular. I remember really liking it, but that was another one where it's been a long time since I've seen it. I think I was shown it in like film appreciation class in high school, so it's been a minute.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. My favorite Ferris Bueller moment is when they're in the pool, but I also like the parade scene.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of people like those moments.
Nut the Butter, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac? If not, I would highly recommend it. It's basically an adult version of Invader Zim since he also made that.
Okay. No, I haven't. I'll try to check it out.
Arias, thank you for the $5 super chat. Greetings, Doug. You made me laugh during hard times during my deployment. I will always be grateful. Bless you, Doug.
Oh my God. Well, bless you, man. Thank you so much. So can you say thank you for all you've done too?
Kale Bartist, thank you for the subscription over on Twitch. Welcome. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Taylor Aaron, thank you for that 45-month subscription over on Twitch. Welcome back. Appreciate it.
Thank
45 months with you. Awesome people living the good life. Also, tomorrow is my niece's, Alina's, second birthday. She's growing up so fast.
Oh, so cool. Happy birthday to her.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Favorite fruit? I love all kinds, but I'll eat anything with raspberries, mangoes, or peaches.
Probably pineapple, just because it's the sweetest. But the ones I eat the most, I have a banana every morning with oatmeal, and then I also have an apple every morning. So those are the ones I'm probably the most familiar with.
Brady, thank you for the $5 super chat. Who wins a fight? Grandmaster Yoda versus Yogurt the Wise.
Yogurt, because he has Spaceballs the flamethrower.
Sailor Aaron, thank you for the 500 bits. This is in a sarcastic tone. Doug, since Disney will be releasing their magnum opus of live-action remakes Snow White this month, will you review the original animated classic?
I'm gonna talk about it in a vlog. Something I want to talk about with a bit about Snow White, Wizard of Oz, and where the wild things are. And let me put it this way: while it's not a full-on review, I'm talking about my favorite moments in it, why the movie really sticks with me and resonates with me. Because it's not even the full movie; it's really just the last third. I mean, the rest of the movie's great, but the last third, where she becomes the witch, from that point on, I think it's pretty much perfection, honestly, as far as emotional storytelling goes. So I will talk in great detail about it.
Sean, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, Doug, thoughts on the show Severance?
I like it. We're about 3 episodes in. I don't know if I'm quite obsessed with it as much as other people are, but I also haven't seen the whole thing yet. So I am really, really liking it a great deal.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Fun fact about Muppet Christmas Carol. In the scene where Honeydew and Beaker come to ask Scrooge for money for the poor, Honeydew was going to sing a song called Room in Your Heart that got cut. Have you heard it? It's a very nice song.
You know, it's funny. I remember hearing that, but I don't think I've actually heard the song. Yeah, I should probably check it out.
Gene Franco, thank you for the $14 super chat. Hi, Doug and Heather. Not sure if this was requested, but an NC review of The Island of Dr. Moreau from 1996, starring Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer. The film is infamous for its production nightmare.
Yeah, I know the story of it. It is a fascinating of the making of it, I should say. And I started the movie about a month ago, and for some reason, something else came up and I couldn't finish. I mean, I didn't even get that far in, maybe like 10, 15 minutes. But the first 10, 15 minutes I was actually really liking. So I am curious to check it out. So yeah, once I actually finish it up, I'll see if I want to do a review of it.
Sailor Aaron, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, years ago, I saw a video of your top 20 characters from movies and television, and some of them are my favorite characters too. So, since you did your updated favorite movies list, will you do an updated version of your favorite characters from movie and TV?
I remember there was one. I think I would knock down Ed and replace her with Zuko. That was the one because I remember like as soon as I saw Avatar, I'm like, yeah, okay, I think Zuko's one of my favorite characters. I love this character so much. I don't know if there'd be many others. I have to look at the list again.
The Mass Nerd, thank you for the $10 super chat. I'm sending the message now since I could yesterday. It was my fourth race, and any guy mine's was my last. When's the next tourney Tuesday? What's the next game? Also, I was Tanuki Mario. Beat ya. Nice. We have tournament Tuesdays on Twitch every other Tuesday, essentially. Most of the time it's every other Tuesday. Basically any day that's not a Tuesdays we film Nostalgia Critic, and any Tuesday that is not a filming day, we do tournament Tuesdays on. And I don't know what the next game will be. I must consult the chart for that. I do actually have a spreadsheet about it.
The chart says.
Chimo, I know I messed that name up so much. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the £5 super chat. Did you ever play the 2009 Ghostbusters video game, aka the True Ghostbusters 3? Would you consider playing it on stream if not?
You know, years ago, I saw, I did the terrible thing where I saw the cutscenes for it. And, just so, because everyone said it was like Ghostbusters 3. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll watch it. And I remember liking it. But I will admit, my memories aren't that strong about it. Like, I remember some scenes, but not a great deal. So maybe that's an idea. We'll look into it. Maybe it'll be a possibility.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. As a fellow big-time Popeye fan, how do you feel about his just-out-of-public domain slasher film, Popeye the Slayer Man? I'm disappointed in those people.
Really? I mean, like, I think that's just the thing now. Anytime something becomes public domain, they make a horror film out of it. And I mean, to a point where it's like the fun is almost that it doesn't have to be good. Just that it exists is enough. I think that's kind of the joke. Like, the movie is just the icing on the cake. What you're really buying is the poster. I think B movies used to work the same way, where they would make the poster first and then actually work on the film. So I think that's the idea behind it. I wouldn't take it too seriously.
Kelly,
I doubt they do.
Kelly, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, it must be hard to keep pitch meeting funny after all these years. Ryan George. Actually, it's super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
I mean, it sure seems that way. He does bring a great amount of talent to it.
Shouting Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. I don't know if anybody's asked this, but what's your thoughts on the new Lilo and Stitch trailer? I watched it and I don't know. I'm getting Lion King 2019 vibes from it.
I didn't quite get that, but it does feel like a shot-for-shot remake with nothing that new. It'll come down to the actresses, and I think I do like the shots of Hawaii. I mean, even if the shots aren't like groundbreaking shots or anything, I mean, it's just a nice place to be. It's a nice place to show. I feel like Hawaii, just in terms of people living their normal lives, you don't see too much in movies. So that'll be nice to see.
Retro Schmo, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, when you were younger, did you ever highly speculate that your state's capital was where The Simpsons was set?
Oh, yeah. I always thought that's where it was. I didn't know Springfield was like the most common city name, like in the US. So I always just assumed it was in Illinois.
The Real Randy, thank you for the $10 super chat. How much to get you to come on the podcast? Name your price, Doug Walker. No.
Your firstborn child. I don't usually do podcasts because I do still have the fatigue issues, and I can sometimes you see it even when we do these. I'll suddenly just like that kind of thing. But I'm trying some new medication that's helping out a great deal. So I'm gonna give that some time and see if that helps out, because so far it's working okay.
F Major, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm not sure about this question. Speaking of Donald Duck and emming bears. If you've ever taken a Spanish class before, you might know that Gollum's voice can be moi, and then that word
A
with an
word you
O
don't
on
know
the
about?
end.
Oh, okay. Well, there's so many ways I can comment on that, but I'll just leave them to your imagination, which I'm sure is already working overtime for you.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Since you have reviewed Coraline and Paranorman, I was wondering, do you have plans to review Box Trolls and Kubo?
I was thinking about it. Paranorman surprisingly didn't do that great. Coraline did wonderful, but Paranorman surprisingly didn't get too much attention. So, so I doubt the Box Trolls will. I do really like the Box Trolls, and Kubo's fantastic. We'll see. Part of that could just be that time of year too. I don't know how well the Nostalgia Ween videos. I mean, we'll always still do them. But I think part of it is people going back to school and get ready for the holidays and stuff. So, we'll see. I do like talking about those movies.
Max, thank you for the £5 super chat. Hey Doug, random question. Have you ever seen Sue the T-Rex skeleton in the Natural History Museum in Chicago? Really recommend it.
Oh yeah, no, it's very
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
We've gone. I love the Chicago museums. There's so
The
many good
world's
ones.
class.
I mean, even if even if you've seen everything already and they haven't gotten a new exhibit or something like that, just going again, I feel like you always, at least I do. I feel like I always miss something, or like just somehow it's always a different experience, even if nothing has changed.
Future movie actor, thank you for the $5 super chat. One positive change that stands out with Lilo and Stitch 2025 is that Cobra's revealed as former CIA way sooner. Aladdin 2019 had positive changes too.
I'm sure somewhere in there they did. Top of my head, I'm not thinking of them, but I'm sure there was something. Sure. I mean, we'll see how it works in the story. I thought it was pretty funny when that was, but because his character just got stranger and stranger. You see him that he's working in child protections, and then you hear his name, which is really odd. And then you found out he's with CIA, but he's CIA involved with aliens, and it just got weirder and weirder, which I thought was pretty fun.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Doug, are you interested in film preservation?
I mean, do I think it's a good idea? Yeah, obviously. In terms of do I look it up much and everything? I guess not a ton, but if I ever hear news about it, I mean, it's interesting. But yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm an expert on it.
Tom, thank you for the $10 super chat. What do you think of a Superman checkbook?
That's okay. That's all right.
Then how about a back credit card?
Ah!
Beautiful.
That's okay. No.
Maze, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey Doug, hope you're doing great. Do you plan on doing Box Trolls and Kubo for Nostalgia Ween since you did Coraline and Paranorman?
We'll see. I might.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. I was already excited about the new Looney Tunes movie, but now I'm even more excited because Peter McNichol is going to play the evil alien Porky and Daffy have to go up against. He's definitely going to make a really enjoyable villain.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, I had to see that this. Originally I was gonna try and see it with Brad, but I don't think our schedules are gonna match up. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna see that this week. I'm pretty. It'll be nice just to see a Looney Tunes movie on the big screen again. I mean, yeah, we have Space Jam and everything, but I mean, just the whole thing animated. That would be really, really neat.
Brady, thank you for the $5 super chat. Imagine if One Piece ends with, and One Piece was the friends we made along the way.
Somebody must have made that joke by this time, especially with how long that show's been going. But yeah, I'm sure people would be fine with it. Totally fine.
Stead, thank you for the $20 super chat. Hi, Doug. To share my thoughts on the Sonic movies, I think they're mostly fan service, which they're very good at, but also insert just enough heart comedy and messages to stand as a real cinema. Do you concur or have any notes?
I think that's pretty fair. I agree. Fan service can be fine if it's smart. I mean, look at the Deadpool movies. That is total fan service, but it does it in a very smart way. The Spider-Verse movies, even some of the Spider-Man movies, same thing. So I still don't get into the first one. I feel like it's very unimaginative. The second one, I think, is a lot of fun. That's probably my favorite of them. And then the third one is just neat to see it go as far as it does. Like they're going into space and fighting. You got the little gemstones there and stuff like that. So I like they're getting crazier and crazier because that's where I feel like it should have started. And the fact that it's working there with every passing movie, I think is really, really nice.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Just watched the Sonic movie for the first time and I thought it was good. I have to see the others next, but what do you think about the Sonic movies? That was uncanny timing on that.
Yeah, boy. See previous answer. The first one I don't get into. I don't hate. I just didn't get into it. I don't think stuffing him in a car is fun. The second one I thought was a lot of fun. I thought would combine the worlds a lot better. And then the third one, I had some issues with, like in terms of like the pacing and some of the line delivery, but I thought it was pretty imaginative, and I had a pretty good time.
Jalen, thank you for the $5 super chat. Never saw Naomi Scott until Smile 2, one of my favorite performances last year by far. She had me transfixed. What do you think, Doug? Shout out to Solid JJ and you.
Oh, thank you. I've seen her only in a few things, and with the exception of Smile 2, they've all been bad. But she has been good, and it's nice that she finally got a movie where not only she gets a good movie, but she can shine. Like she is really great in that film. And the film knows how to utilize her. So yeah, I'm hoping that's like, like kind of like the start of this really great career. Cause again, I feel like she would be in stuff where she's good, but just the films were, and they're usually Disney, weren't that hot. But yeah, I mean, clearly with that one especially, she showed what great talent she has.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Claws, I really like the scene near the end where Norm Macdonald's character, Mojins, helps the main character connect with his father. I like when a character who mostly acts like a jerk shows that they do have a heart. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's good. It's another one where I love the show Parks and Rec. It's the one issue I have, apart from I didn't like the first season that much, was that there is only so many times a cynical character, especially Aubrey Plaza, I felt like did this a lot. Just I don't usually do this, and then they do something nice. It's the only thing that kind of drove me nuts because everybody does it like 6 or 7 times in that show. So that's an example if it can be used too often. But I agree, if they use it sparingly, if they use it at just the right moments, and it doesn't seem like this character was here just for that reason, I think it can be done very, very well. And I remember that being done pretty well.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is part 1 of 3. Fortnite X Back to the Future ideas. Have the rift tears randomly throw you not from the sky, but to a different location, set simulating time travel.
Okay.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is part 2 of 3. The challenges could just be playing out the scenarios from the trilogy films or just the first meet Doc at mall in 1985 area, reach 88 in a car, etc.
Or just going to one of the arcade games in the mall or the shoot 'em ups in the old Western times, the Old West.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Did you ever do an NC on the Goonies?
No. Terrible confession. I like that movie. I don't love it. It's good. It's a fun, cool movie. It just didn't grab me as much as like other 80s kids movies did. So yeah, it's just something where I know I would do it. I'd just be like, that's fine. This is good. And I'd have like nothing else to say. So yeah, I just don't think I'm the guy to talk about it.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on the new Lilo and Stitch trailer? Lots of shots for shots. It's looking like.
Yeah, I agree. If the sisters are done well, I think that'll go a long way. But yeah, I'm with you. I wish there could be more variety to it.
The Masked Nerd, thank you for the $5 super chat. NC review on 28 Days and Weeks Later for thoughts. If you've seen 28 Years trailer, heads up, the world is fine and the 28 weeks ending is retconned.
Okay, I remember seeing the first one and I didn't hate it, but I didn't really get into it. And I never saw the second one. I'll say the trailer for this new one looked really good. It looked really intense. So I probably will check. And they say the 1 to 28 weeks was retcon? Like that's retcon?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I haven't seen that one.
Mega Man Land Prime, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey Doug, have you ever seen any of the Bionicle commercials? They are very interesting and actually tell the story of the series in the commercials.
Oh, interesting. No, I know what it is, but I haven't seen the commercials. I'll try to check them out.
Maze, thank you for the $5 super chat. Speaking of Tom and Jerry movie, we've got to have money.
Money.
There you
I
go.
literally use that in in the Hobbit review. You'll never guess in what context.
Maze, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is part one. What's some of your fave thrillers, Doug? Have you heard of Don't Tell a Soul with Jack Dylan Grazer and Rainn Wilson?
No, I might look that up. Oh man, I mean a lot of Hitchcock stuff. I feel like Vertigo and Psycho. Strangers on a Train is fantastic. Charade, even though it's not Hitchcock, it's very Hitchcock esque. So there's some good ones.
Jace, thank you for the $10 super chat. This is part 3 of 3. Marty, Doc, Biff, and Lorraine could have different cosmetics from the films as you progress the challenges. Fortnite has had hoverboards, flying Iron Man, and UFOs, so a flying DeLorean? No problem.
That's true. They've had so many things from the movies already. It's like you could almost do it just with the props that already exist and the settings already exist.
Strider for Life, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey Doug, do you remember those Blockbuster video commercials with the guinea pig and the rabbit voiced by James Woods and Jim Belushi? I'm surprised no one made a movie about those two.
I feel like that's what they were going for. I never liked those commercials. I didn't think they were very funny. They played them all the time. I thought they were really annoying. I like both those actors, but yeah, I just thought they couldn't like they seem way too good for something like that. So yeah, I never got into them.
Maze, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is part 2. I showed it to my friend and he really liked it. It's one of my favorite recent thrillers.
Okay, I'll try to check it out.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Top 3 favorite moments from Game of Thrones.
Man, so it's funny. Everyone knows the last season is not very good. It's a bad ending and everything. I love, but it has my favorite episode, and that's the one before the big fight with the White Walkers. I just love that. It's nothing but setting up character and preparing for the big fight. I mean, that's great build up for the battle. So just that whole episode would be it for me. Man, outside of that, good lord. I love when Arya calls in one of her favors to the guy. The guy's about to tell on her, who she is, and I don't want to give it away, but if you've seen it, the outcome of that. And then Joffrey's death. Oh, so good, so good.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. My favorite Foghorn moment is when he tries to get Henry Hawk to see that he is a rooster. I love when he said, "This is a dog, not a chicken. Chickens don't look like dogs."
Yeah, no, they're very, very funny.
Peter, thank you for the $5 super chat. Excuse me. Battle of the Copy and Paste movies. Which do you think will perform better? Lilo and Stitch or How to Train Your Dragon?
My guess would be Lilo and Stitch. Because it just doesn't. I mean, it can't cost as much as How to Train Your Dragon or even the other remakes. And B, I think even though people like the epic size of How to Train Your Dragon and everything, they've just been burned by the Disney remakes too many times, especially the big fairy tale epic ones. Where with Lilo and Stitch, they haven't really done a remake like this where it takes place in modern times. So again, there's always that wiggle room, like maybe it'll be okay. Where I haven't seen anyone that looked at How to Train Your Dragon and be like, this is gonna work. They even said it might be okay. They're just like, why are we doing this?
Peter, thank you for the $5 super chat. Also, really enjoying your Batman streams. I'm sure the Bat credit card bit might be getting overplayed, but look, another Batmobile mission.
Yeah, fun. I'd much rather do a reaction to Bat credit card than getting that stupid Batmobile again.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Did you watch Batman the Animated Series on Blu-ray or Max?
Both. First I watch it on Blu-ray, and then if I'm like, yeah, I'm bored, I want to hear, or I want to go to bed or something like that, but I want to watch something cool, like it's good to watch on streaming.
Sailor Aaron, thank you for the 500 bits. Heather, and possibly Doug if you're interested, have you heard of the manga series called Kilala Princess? If you have thoughts, I totally recommend it. I have not. I will have to check that out. Thank you, Sailor Aaron. I did just start watching Free Run, though, because it's on Netflix now, and I'm excited to jump into that anime. Ryan Wilkins, Ed, and Eddie, thank you for becoming a member over on YouTube. We appreciate that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And thank you, Ryan Wilkins, for the $2 super chat. Maze, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug, favorite Alvin and the Chipmunks? Wait, not the live action. It's the Chipmunks Adventure. Also, a late 2000s kid. I liked that one more.
Well, it was asking what my favorite. They were saying that was their favorite.
I think it was both. I think they're asking your favorite Alvin and the Chipmunks, and then their favorite is Chipmunk Adventure.
Gotcha. I think I see what you're saying. I grew up with both the Chipmunk Adventure and the Christmas one, so I have a soft spot for both. But the Chipmunk Adventure is legit, like, really impressive to watch. The animation and everything, and even some of the songs are really, really good and really fun. So yeah, that's probably the best of them.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Any thoughts on the show Barry or Tuca and Birdie?
I saw Tuca and Birdie. I really liked it a great deal. I think I did the first season of Barry. I liked everything except the actor playing Barry. I just didn't believe him. I know, and so many people say it's great and it gets better and better, but I just did. I just don't know if he was the right pick for me. I just don't buy him as a hitman, which you could argue that's the idea. It's like, well, he seems very unassuming and everything, but I'm like, I don't know. I just didn't believe it. I know that's like his baby. He like made that show and everything, so I understand. But that was the only thing that felt a little off to me. But everything else in the show I did really like.
Maze, thank you for the $5 super chat. Director, I don't know if it's Gil or Jill, Keenan said he is open to a Monster House sequel. Any thoughts? Monster House is one of my favorite films ever and a nostalgic favorite.
It's such a perfect standalone movie, though. I don't know what you would do for a Monster Apartment. Like, I don't know what you would do.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts on The Birdcage?
Oh, I liked it. I still have to see the original because I guess anyone who's seen the original, especially if they saw it first, are just like, no contest. It's better than Birdcage. So I have to see that. But yeah, no, I remember enjoying it quite, especially the last third when the actual dinner party starts. That's when it just obviously takes off.
Jace, thank you for the $10 super chat. Is it weird? Many jokes from your reviews have been cut, but we remember them so you don't have to. You can still see them if you search Boring from Junior, OG Song, and Casper, Chase, and Star Trek Prepare Spaceballs.
Yeah, it's one of the downsides of doing this for so long. And when we had to, transfer stuff over to YouTube, I do forget what's missing and what's still in there. Most of them I have still on the computer, but even some of those aren't, they're either not high quality or even some of like the really, really early ones I don't necessarily have because I didn't know I'd still be doing this,
right.
all these years later. So yeah, it is crazy. I'll say this. I know like lost media communities are a big thing. So there is something fun knowing it's like, oh, like, yeah, like some of my stuff might be in there too. Like, that's kind of neat.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Would you have liked to see a Spaceballs sequel? I would have liked to see Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money.
Well, I think they're doing it. Josh Gad is working with Mel Brooks, last I heard, to make one. I was going to write a fanscription. I never had time. I still don't know how I do with some of the images, but that was going to be a parody of that was going to be called Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. It was going to be a parody of the sequel trilogy and the prequel trilogy. And it's a sequel, but then they're trying to go back in time to like stop Lord Helmet from altering the present. And it was also going to be a commentary on how much Lucas keeps changing everything because he was going to go back and try to change stuff. It's like, no, leave it as is. The original classics are great and say, so it was going to mess with all that. But now that they're actually doing it, maybe they'll do that idea. I don't know.
Matt, thank you for the $5 super chat. I can't believe you haven't reviewed Joe Dirt yet. It's a bad movie people actually like, so there would definitely be an audience for it.
Maybe I should. It's one of those where I've never seen the whole thing. Or maybe I have, but just not in order. You know what I mean? It was always kind of on TV or somewhere else. So I should probably sit down and watch the whole thing.
JL, thank you for the 1,000 bits. I was frozen today.
Christ!
Grayson, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, Doug, I'm a huge fan of all your work. You're my favorite critic of all time.
Well, thank you so much. It's so kind of you to say that you're my favorite fan of all time.
Fernsey, thank you for the 500 bits, just doubling down on my suggestion of the extended Channel Awesome movie review for Enemy of the State, as I think Rob would be a perfect John Voight.
um, yeah, you could probably have fun with it. I forgot he was even in that movie. I'll look into it. I should see it again. I remember it being a fun movie.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. I know it's not an arcade, but would you review the movie based SNES game, The Mask? It's a great and fun representation of the film that you love and reviewed.
Um, I think I saw like a playthrough of it, and I don't think I could get that much material out of it. That was one of those where every once in a while, like I remember seeing a game growing up, but I didn't have money to rent it or play or whatever. It is fun watching these playthroughs all these years later. So I did see that one. I'm just like, I don't think I can really get that much out of it, so probably not.
Liv J, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, have you seen Anora yet? It's from the director of your favorite depressing movie, The Florida Project. Also, Heather, it was awesome beating you all in Mario Kart yesterday. Tee-hee. Indeed, indeed. I only won one match and we played for 2 hours, so, you know.
And no, I haven't seen Anora yet. Even before it won Best Picture and all that, I was curious to check it out. It had really good buzz. So I didn't know it was from the director to the Florida Project, though. That is interesting. So they'll prep me up a little bit. I feel like I'll be okay. This seems like a different, like I'm sure it's a downer or whatever, but it seems still like a different type of movie. Florida Project was just a very difficult sit through.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather, have you watched Married with Children or Futurama? And if so, favorite character? I've watched both Married with Children and Futurama, although I watched Married with Children when I was a kid. I'd love to see it again now as an adult and like see what else I could like pick up, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure I didn't understand 70% of the jokes with Married with Children. In terms of Futurama, wow, hello. I think my favorite character is probably Bender. I love Bender. Bender's hilarious. Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hi, Heather, an understudy for Thug in Robert Pattinson's Batman movie. Fun fact about Redfield, my nephew was literally born while I was watching it in theaters.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. American or British comedy? I love both, but I think I prefer British comedy, more particularly the works of Douglas Adams, Terry Pratchett, Monty Python, Edgar Wright, and Nick Park.
If you asked me when I was younger, I'd say no contest, British comedy. But as time has gone on, I think American comedy has gotten more surreal and fun. It has actually borrowed a lot from British comedy. So I say on the whole, more American comedy. But when it's at its best, I like British comedy more.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Favorite scene from Princess Mononoke and Castle in the Sky?
Favorite theme?
Favorite scene.
Oh, scene.
Scene.
Let's see. From Mononoke. I think I like the just when she first breaks in. Anything with that Minnie Driver character I thought was great. And just when she gets to fight, I thought that was pretty cool. And then Castle in the Sky, let me see. Again, kind of anything with the Granny character, I just thought was so great. All the little one-liners she has and everything. But if you want a specific moment, the chase on the railroad, I thought was like some really amazing animation.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the Tangled TV show, what do you think of Clancy Brown as Rapunzel's father, the king?
The actor's fine. I don't like the character. I thought the character was way too stupid. And he was just there to be an obstacle and say, you can't go on the adventure. So it's like, why would I like this character?
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. What's the best streaming service in your opinion? Disney, Max, or Peacock?
I don't have Peacock, so I guess I can't comment on that. But all right, so technically, I'd probably say Disney because that's combining Hulu as well. So that just makes more sense. It's more cost effective. But in terms of what I like to watch, what I look forward to, like when I click on it, it's like, ooh, what's the new thing going to be? It used to be Disney, but I think it's Max now.
Haunted Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. If the two greatest directors of all time merged into one, would that person's name be Hitchberg or Spielkock?
Both are wonderful.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Swing away, Doug.
Wow. That's why my wife died years ago, and I lost my faith so that God could put together this amazing plan that, I could just look on a wall and have as a reminder or something like that, and nobody had to die, and I wouldn't have to lose my faith. But it's great because that inspired me to beat up this alien just to get my faith back. And it's great because nothing has changed except I have a dead wife. What a great plan God had. I hate that movie.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, favorite character and or episode from Married with Children?
I don't remember the episodes specifically. Yeah, I just more remember jokes and funny moments. But favorite character, I loved it whenever Bud's the name of the son, right? Whenever he would get his come up. I remember there's one where he's like on a virtual reality thing where he's like, I don't know, making love to a woman or something like that. And then his sister, I don't know, he did something wrong to her or something like that. So she changes the woman he's making love to like a gorilla. And you don't see it, you just hear his reaction in the other room. You just hear, oh, ah, ah, ah! It was so great. Yeah, that's probably my favorite moment out of all of them.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. In 2006, he gave us laser disc. He gave us
Heather, no swearing.
Disc to DVD transfers of the original Star Wars series.
Oh, I think I remember hearing that. Yeah, pretty cheap.
That Freudian slip. It was so real, right, King Croker? No. Wes, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather and Doug, what are your favorite Halloween movies? For me, Nightmare Before Christmas always puts me in the mood for spooky season.
There's a lot I put on. The Haunting, the original. Why am I blanking now? Evil Dead 2, I always put on. Coraline, I put on. Yeah, it's a couple.
Those are good ones. Okay, we have like 10 minutes to look at some of these
nice,
other questions.
Okay.
All right.
They're all going to be Lilo and Stitch related.
Right? Every single one. Power Gamer over on Twitch asks, so I've been doing a marathon of every DreamWorks movie, which means I finally saw Prince of Egypt for the first time, and it totally lived up to the hype. I also had to watch Shark Tale, which also lived up to the hype, but that's code for it sucked.
Yeah, I agree with both.
Adam, thank you for the $5 super chat. How would you rank the 3 James Whale Universal monster movies? Frankenstein, Invisible Man, and Bride of Frankenstein.
Man, probably Bride of Frankenstein but man, I go back and forth between that and Frankenstein. So Bride of Frankenstein, then Invisible Man.
Nathan over on YouTube asks, Doug, have you seen Archer? And if so, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, love Archer. The only point where I got out of it, I did watch a couple seasons where they changed the genre. I guess that's the best way to put it. But then they started to get really old, and it wasn't really that funny, so I kind of stopped. And then when it came back, I remember the first couple episodes I didn't think were that funny, so I stopped. And Rob's like, no, it gets really good again, then watch it again. And he was right. It really finished on a really funny note. So yeah, when they're spies, it's great. And even, like I said, the first season or two of him being in the different dreamland scenarios was okay.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. There is a Star Wars original print streaming on Roku. One of my friends posted it on Discord.
Oh, cool. Good to know. I have the VHS of the Star Wars movies, too, so that's another one where it's like I like holding on to the original, even though they're not widescreen.
Gabriel Kane, the creative kid over on Twitch, says, have you seen the Transporter trilogy with Jason Statham? If so, what do you think of them, and would they be possible NC reviews?
I saw the first one. I remember the first one being okay. It mainly relied on the charm of him, but I haven't seen the other two. I don't know if I do an NC on it. Like it was all right. I don't know if the sequels are any crazier, but maybe I'll try to check them out.
Adam, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on Alan Tudyk's character, Dr. Phosphorus in Creature Commandos?
That's the skeleton guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the characters, I like their backstories a lot more than the main story. They're not bad characters, just the main story didn't interest me much. But yeah, that was another one where I thought his backstory was pretty damn good.
Frankfurt the Orange over on YouTube says, so Dougie, any chance to review another Thomas and Friends movie? This one has Eddie Redmayne in it, Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure.
I was gonna say I didn't even know there was another movie. I'll say this: everybody says the show is legit, really, really good, and that's so surprising to me. Because it just looked like it was gonna be a bad show. Apparently, not only is it good, it's like really philosophical and like it has this great atmosphere and very like it's almost like Mister Rogers and how like kind of calming and almost spiritual it is and everything. I was just like, wow, holy smokes! I would not have expected that about a train with a face. So before I do a movie, I should probably look into the show. And I don't know if I'm gonna have time for either, so I don't know. But I'll try to look into it a bit. I'll do my best. I'll say that.
Math God over on Twitch asks, "Have you seen Flow yet? It's on Max."
Yes. I liked it, and I couldn't quite put together what to take out of it. It kind of stayed with me for a little bit in terms of what it could be about and what's going on and everything. I like that great. It's been a while since I've seen a movie where it's really stayed with me. Like, what was going on with that? And what was it about? What was it trying to do? And for me, looking up what the director was trying to do was a mistake because it's not like it's bad. It's just very, very kind of bland and dull, in my opinion. I like more what my imagination was putting together, but it's still very, very good. I do wish they had more money for the animation on the main characters for like the textures, but I get it. They probably didn't have much of a budget, and they probably made do pretty well with what they had.
Batfan over on YouTube says, "Thoughts on Baby Driver?"
Oh, I liked it. I liked it a great deal. Yeah, just a good, solid movie, good characters, good style, just a good flick.
David, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, have you seen Bob Dylan's movie Masked and Anonymous? Weird as hell. It could be a funny review. Also, will there be more cinema snob crossovers?
Somebody brought up a good idea of maybe reviewing Dumbo with him, and I'm like, yeah, that might be fun actually, because we both really like that movie. He especially loves that movie, so that might be a fun one. And no, I haven't seen that other one. I'll try to check it out.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Signs theory. They were not aliens, they were demons because they hated water.
Sure, that's the twist within the twist.
Adam, thank you for the $5 super chat. Has it been intentional that every other year the theme month has been centered around a superhero? X month, Spider month, Bat month, Super month, etc.
You cracked the code. No, that is entirely a coincidence and one I never put together. Interesting.
Right? So I guess that means next year has
Why
to be
we have to do Avengers? Yeah.
You can't let the streak die, Doug. Master Mario over on Twitch says, "Would you do a very special episodes review? You know how some sitcoms, dramas, and kid shows had an episode that dealt with alcoholism, drugs, bullying, racism, child abuse, harassment, others?"
Man, I'd have to do a ton of research on that. I don't think I have the time to, sadly. It's a cool idea. Why do I feel like, I don't know, like Funny or Die or something? I feel like somebody's done. It might have even been called like on a very special episode or something, but somebody's done that. Maybe it's a YouTuber. I'm not sure. Somebody out there is doing that.
Headshot, thank you, or not. I mean, yes, thank you for being here. But Headshot over on YouTube says, "Doug, in gaming, how do you feel about QTEs, quick time events? Are you indifferent about them, or do you back credit card them?"
Gosh, shows how out of the loop I am. What is a quick time event?
I've heard of it, but you hate them. It's like when you're watching a cutscene and it's like, quickly mash circle, and if you don't, you like fail the whole thing.
Yeah, because I think they are setting up like you were supposed to watch this. You're supposed to take this in, get into the character and everything. And when it's suddenly like, press this button, like I get what it's doing. It's being like, haha, you can never fully relax. You always got to be ready. But it's like, but we're all going to do that. We're all going to put the controller down and watch the scene or something like that. So it's not my thing. But again, I can't act like I don't understand why they do that. Because again, it is still trying to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I think I'm 50-50 on that. In a game like Until Dawn, I feel like it serves more purpose when you're like it's more visual novel-y anyway, so like you need that to help move the story
Mm.
forward. And if you fail the quick time event, it has real consequences for the story versus just like, oh, you died, try it again, you know.
Yeah, like that makes sense.
Right. So sometimes they're annoying, sometimes they're not, you know.
Hmm.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Heather, before you guys go, will you ever watch Dragon Ball again on Crunchyroll? Probably not. There's just so many animes that I need to catch up on that I don't feel like I'd watch Dragon Ball. Like I still need to watch like My Hero Academia, and so I feel like I'd rather pick that up than like go watch Dragon Ball again, you know? So, that's just me though. What other questions? There we go. King Croker over on Twitch says, "Hey Doug, any work done on that original The Mask fan script that you were working on?"
Not yet. I do like I said, I'm trying some different medication here, and I'm hoping to get back to. So far, it's been getting me back to my normal workload, which is really nice. I like working. I hate being away from it. I hate stuff that stops me from working. So being able to get back to it is really, really nice. And after the first view, because obviously I'm doing first viewings of the Lord of the Rings movies this month, but after that, I'm hoping to get back to doing like vlog, like the Doug Rambles videos and stuff like that. And that it'll be one of those.
Bree over on YouTube asks, "What's your thoughts on the new Jurassic World movie coming out this year? I feel that it's been way too milked out at this point."
Agree, hard agree. I thought it looked terrible, and I love Scarlett Johansson. I was really hoping, okay, well, she'll add something kind of new to it and stuff like that. It's like, no, it just looks every. Oh, they're on an island again with dinosaurs. Wow, like you've heard my complaints over and over. I'm not gonna go into it again.
Howard, thank you for the $5 super chat. What's a trope each of you hate but think could be done well under certain circumstances?
It's funny. I'm watching for Disney December. I'm watching The Proud Family, and one of the tropes they really turn into something, and I like when people turn this into something, is the bully trope, where they're more than just bullies. They either make them interesting characters or they have fun with the archetype. And the bullies are actually becoming my favorite characters in that show because they are so funny and they just go so over the top with what they can do with them, and then play with how you perceive them and what you think they're into and stuff. And I love when somebody can take an archetype like that and really turn it into something that's a lot of fun.
Okay, great. And that's going to bring us to 8 o'clock. So thank
Alrighty.
you, everyone. Appreciate you being here as usual. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Appreciate that. We really enjoy hanging out here and being with you guys. Thanks for dealing with me being a little sick and out of it. We got there. We finished
They put up with
did it.
me. They put up with me being like that every week. So, yeah.
Great, amazing.
It's your turn.
Yes, every now and then. We do have content on Twitch 5 days a week, so go on back tomorrow for Malcolm. He'll be hanging out and playing games, and Doug will be back here on Friday on both Twitch and YouTube for more of Arkham Knight. Yes, Bat Doug, thank you. So have a great rest of your evening, everyone, and we will see you all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.